it's like guys just think, well, of course you're going to hire me, and women, it's just harder. I mean, you know the stats. I mean, they're still depressing as hell, you know. So I think that, and especially an actor who wants to direct, it's like, oh, she thinks she wants to direct, you know. So, you know, I mean, I even had my representation going like, a lot of actors want to direct. Like, there's no way you're going to be able to do it. And I'm like, well, I am doing it, and I'm doing it. You can come along, or you can just be left behind, you know, because I'm in this. And thank you.
Hi again. My name is Jessica Radloff. I am the senior West Coast editor of Glamour, and I feel like I also need to say this because we have someone very special to me that's on this panel tonight. I'm also the author of the New York Times best-selling oral history of The Big Bang Theory. So thank you. I'm so proud of that because of the fact that I couldn't have done it without the cast. I was just saying to Simon how much I love him, and we spent so many hours, and I have the respect I had for him as an actor before this, and I'm so sorry if I'm embarrassing you, Simon. It's tenfold now that I know his process and everything. So I'm thrilled to be here tonight. I hope you love this sweet movie. This was so wonderful when I watched it, and it just makes me miss those Midwest summers and everything. So I can't wait to talk to the cast and to Kyra about it. So without further ado, first let me welcome Kyle Allen, who plays Alex. Next up, he may not talk to me again after that, I don't know. Please welcome Simon Helberg, who plays Dimitri. Sorry, I had to. And then finally, producer and director, give it up for Kyra Sedgwick. Congratulations, and thank you for all being here tonight. It was so weird leaving the house at 7:45. It was like going out to a club. I haven't left the house at that time in so long, but what a cast you assembled. My God. I mean, what was this whole experience like for you? When did it start?
Let's see. I think we got the script in 2018, I want to say, maybe. And it kind of got plopped into our laps. My production company is Big Swing with Valerie Stadler, who's here. And it came to us, and we loved the script, and it was something for me to direct. And it was a long road, you know? It's so funny when you say, what was it like? And I was like, hard. That's really what I want to say first, second, and third, is that it was hard. You know, getting it together was hard, like getting the financing, getting the cast. Shooting it was less hard. I think because in some ways, you know, we had like 3 years of prep in a way, you know, because we were working on the script for about 1.5 years, and then COVID happened. So we couldn't, you know, make it work that summer. And so, but it was, you know, getting it together was hard, but shooting it was a dream. I mean, we got this incredible flower farm, as you could see. And
I looked it up on Instagram because I'm like, I know that Alex, his character wants to go to Mars, but I'm like, I just want a one-way trip to this place in Rhode Island. It was in Rhode Island?
Yeah, Rhode Island,
yeah. It's like, I want a one-way trip to there and just stay on, you know, become a florist for a living. That sounds magical.
Yeah, it was, and it was a working flower farm. So I think there were moments where they were like, what were we thinking letting you guys come and shoot here? But we got, you know, many millions of dollars of production design completely free because it was gorgeous everywhere you should put the camera. So yeah, it was, you know, it's always up and down with independent filmmaker making, you know, you get a cast, the cast falls out, you get a better cast, you know? Yeah.
Did you all stay in like a bed and breakfast in Rhode Island? Like, can you please?
All in the same room. Just like this. This is how we slept. 200% humidity and all love. What did we stay?
Where did you stay? I mean, this town.
Not on the flower farm. I wish we did, but we were.
Was it? I think it was a Marriott townhome.
We can't reveal that, but yes.
Yeah, it's a
sound.
Only the best for my cast.
Secrecy. I loved it.
Yeah, it was depressing leaving the flower farm, going back to the Marriott. No offense if there are any timeshare Marriott holders or something.
So you were speaking about this fantastic cast. I mean, it was just one after the other. Alfre
know.
Woodard shows up. I'm like, she
know.
wasn't even on the IMDb page when I was first looking
I
at it.
know,
Like,
I know.
incredible. So tell me about the process of Simon and Kyle coming on board, because I mean, two tremendous actors here.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
So Kyle came in kind of late into the process. We were about maybe a month or a month and a half away from shooting, and we were introduced to him through his agent, Brian Netzikov, is that right? Yeah, whatever his name is. And he said, there's this young, man, and he's wonderful, and he's in West Side Story, and he's in, and I watched his movie, Map of Tiny Perfect Things, and I thought, oh, he's extraordinary, and he's really sweet looking, and I just thought that, yeah, he is. And gorgeous and sweet looking. No, but able to straddle the funny and the sad, the deep and the lighthearted, and there's. I felt that was really super important with the role. And then Simon.
Contrast that sweet looking.
The most gorgeous
the
man.
yang to his yin.
Oh, please. Come on, we all know Simon is the hottie waiting to happen in the new romantic comedy with ScarJo. Simon was suggested to me by my manager, and we just thought, oh my God, that's the greatest idea ever. And we also knew that he had like this penchant and this genius about like a sort of a savant with accents.
Yes.
And so there you go.
Yeah, I agree.
What was so funny, I actually looked this up in the book, but you had told me that in one of the very first episodes of Big Bang, Chuck Lorre he knew Russian and was helping you with
true.
Russian on the show.
Yes, I did have to. Yeah, that show prepared me for
this role.
Yeah, I had to speak 8 languages, but no, this was more challenging. I had to sing in Russian. That was not fair.
This is so fair. It was so fair.
But it really is extraordinary. I mean, without these actors in these parts, it would maybe be an okay movie, but to me it transcends it all because they're so extraordinary and they so bought into the whole concept of it. And Carrie Preston was someone that my producing partner knew and loved from The Good Wife, and was like, oh my God, she's so great, and she has such a natural buoyancy about her, and then it just went on and on. I mean, and then Alfre's a friend, and so I reached out to her, and Madeline Brewer's insanely brilliant in this, and one may not know that from the stuff that she does on Handmaid's Tale, but she's extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary.
And then there's also this up-and-comer that you live with that's also in the film.
Kevin.
Yeah, I heard he was not the...
Forgot about him. That was weird. Yeah. That was a little weird. He was a last-minute addition. We had a different choice, to be honest.
This is true.
Though.
There was someone else that was playing the role.
Someone was attached. They fell out, and we were taking a walk during COVID, and I went, what do you think about it? He's like, I was waiting for you to ask me. What the hell took you so long?
What did you say to that?
Oh my God, thank you. I'm so happy. Bless you.
But were you
You're
at
an
all...
actor?
Yeah.
What have I seen you in?
Were you at all hesitant, though, to work with him in this capacity?
It's weird. I also, he was in my other movie, and I don't want him to feel like he's doing me a favor. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, he's like, it's a great part. What are you talking about? I don't know. It's just a girl thing, like, oh, could you be in my movie? And is that funny? That sounds right to me, ladies. Am I right? But yeah, no, I was thrilled, and it was great to have him. He's a great cook, and he cooked for me almost every night. I mean, really, to be honest.
The Marriott.
No. We rented a house. Yeah, because we were there a lot longer.
And your son is also part of this production too.
Yes, Travis did the music along with Scott Hendrick, and it was it's a beautiful score. It's a beautiful score, and then we got a little lady named Brandy Carlisle to throw in a couple of songs and do the cover for us for Space Oddity. It was all hard until it wasn't. You know what I mean? Until you see what's on screen, and then it's like, oh, it's all wonderful and marvelous.
Right. You've directed before. what do you want to bring to your sets that either you noticed other directors doing that you thought, I want this to be like my set, or what did you notice that wasn't being done on other sets that you thought, I really want to make sure when I do this, this is what exists with my actors and all the people that are behind the scenes?
I think it really has to be the safest place on earth, you know? I really want everyone to feel seen and known and understood for the job that they're doing, including the crew. A very high level of civility and kindness is really important, mutual respect. And then just a safe place for the actors to, like, you know, fly without a net is the goal. You know, I just think, honestly, safety and like a lot of love, that feels really important.
Kyle and Simon, what was it like working with this icon as your director? What was that?
No eye contact. You left that out. No eye contact with the director. That was the first thing Kyra said. Okay, where do I look? Look at my husband, Kevin. Okay, wait, this is confusing. No, I was. I don't want to answer this because I mean I will answer quickly because I was there so briefly, but it was absolutely delightful, and I showed up and I feel like I landed almost on the flower farm and then just started and was there for, you know, a few days, and Kyra could not have shown more love. I do agree that's a huge component of really just being productive and creative is feeling comfortable and supported, and like we're all kind of on an adventure, so it felt very adventurous. But Kyle was there much longer than I was there, and I'm sure he has more to say. Kyle?
Yeah, I was there longer. I think it was awesome and kind of equally comforting and terrifying. On one hand, you know they have your back because they're an actor, and they also know, like, they're gonna see through all of your bullshit, no matter what's going on. Like anything, I was like, oh, this is probably really hard, and then I'm like, Kyra's probably done this like at least 100 times, like way harder than I have. So there's like really no excuses for me, which was great. It was great. Hopefully that answers some of the question. Yes. But I really had a wonderful time. Yeah.
I love that. I love that the message of the film, at least for me, was that it's so important to find your purpose in what gets you up in the morning and what gets you excited. What do you interpret the message of the film to be? Is it that, or is it something different that you want people to take away?
I mean, I think, you know, the beauty of this art form is that everyone takes away something different. For me, it's about, you know, we have to stick it out here on this planet. Wherever you go, there you are. You know, your problems will never, you know, you'll never be able to escape them. And the way to health and wholeness is through connection, not through running away. Whether it's, you know, running away from the earth and thinking that there's a planet B, or running away from your family because every time you look at them, you see the pain, or running away from love because you could get hurt. So for me, those are sort of the biggest themes for me and why I wanted to make the movie.
Okay, boys. What was the message?
The movie.
Oh, that's right.
I haven't, but I hear I'm
read
great.
The script.
You are
Oh my God.
You are.
Yeah. No, I believe the word on the shit. Oh, that's.
Yeah, I don't think I could say it better than Kyra did, for sure. I found it really interesting. I just kind of focused on the brother who's never there the entire time. So like that was always, I was always trying to make that my character's focus, and that kind of opened up, because that's the center of the entire family is this one tragedy. And I think you can try and isolate tragedy and handle it yourself, but that's always going to be selfish, because there's no one thing that happens to any of us that isn't affecting, at least 6 other people in some way. So yeah, I think there's some wisdom in there. It's hard to tie up in a bow. I mean, that's why you make the movie, but I would suppose that's a theme in it.
Yeah. I would assume a lot of people here in the audience are actors, and I was thinking a lot, it's so interesting, Carrie Preston's character, because when you have, Kyle's character say that Alex, when he is saying like, this is what he wants to do to find purpose, and she's okay with it in a way. I mean, she's not, but she is, because she knows it gives him life. And I think a lot, acting is one of the hardest things to do, because more often than not, you're not getting to do it on a daily basis. It's so difficult to wake up in the morning and think like, what other audition am I going to go on and not get? Or when is there going to be an audition? To keep going when it's like, your purpose in life, but yet it takes somebody else to recognize that. How do you interpret, like, what keeps you going on the days where you were waiting for calls or for projects or for things? How did you keep your purpose alive when it wasn't showing up?
Oh God. You start that.
I feel like I'm a little bit closer to that than the two of you. I might take this one. Well.
Yeah, I actually, no one really gets to do it every day. So I think it's actually a reframing in your mind of what acting is. I realized pretty early on, I was like, if I'm not okay with reading endless auditions, 80% of which I'm really not that interested in, but I guess I like acting, so I'm going to do all of them. If I don't like picking up this thing, getting a rejection, picking up this one, auditioning for it, getting a rejection, doing that 1,000 times, if I don't inherently like that, I'm done. So it's kind of like, am I okay with this as it is for as long as it takes? Can I find my own purpose in that? I think that's at least how I've dealt with it.
That's so
That's
beautiful.
a really good answer.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's sort of like that concept, like how can I be okay no matter what? But I can tell you that there have been many years of darkness around like not working and feeling like, what is my point? What is my purpose? What is my reason for being? So I remember that vividly, and I think one of the reasons why I feel it less now is because I'm not just waiting for the acting job. Like I have other venues, but I think that that's a very hard thing to do, and I think that it's a hard thing to imagine yourself doing something else, and I so know the feeling that like the way you communicate with the world, the way you get to know yourself is through your art form, and when you can't do it, it's just excruciatingly hard.
How did you? Oh yeah, go Simon.
Thank you. Okay, sit back, guys. This is going to be a good one. No, yeah, no. I would just say that I always. It sounds crazy because I've been very fortunate, but still probably 98% of my experience has been rejection. I mean, and I'm not trying to like get sympathy for that because I've had a really great career, but it still is like so, and it's just, and it is hard, and it doesn't ever feel good. I did have the benefit of getting to kind of do it every day, which I still say is sort of the greatest thing about doing the show, actually, for me, at least, especially towards sort of the end where you're like, wow, we've been doing this a long time, but you get to do it every day. You get to work every day, and you get to experiment. And so, yeah, I think it's hard to sort of make peace with the rejection part of it. It doesn't ever go away. I don't think for anybody it really ever fully goes away. But I guess if you really find your purpose, if you find the reason that you're doing the thing, sort of like when you get the part, you're finding the purpose for being there, for what that character is doing. You can hold on to something, even if it's you can do a good job on the audition that you get rejected from. But it's hard. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough.
Love to add one more thing to that, if that's okay. Something that just kind of helped me a ton was you try and protect yourself, I think, from the heartbreak of the job in some way. You're trying to find some bit of information from it. And so I was going out on all these auditions, and I wasn't putting my part on the line. I wasn't really committing to them. I was keeping myself like, oh, I'll do a good enough job. And then I realized my job isn't to act. Our job, the hard part of a job, we love acting. We love that. You don't have to like pay us to do that. I mean, you do, but like you don't. The hard part, the work, the thing that's truly challenging about it is that our job is to get our heart broken. That is our job, is to fall in love with something, pretend and frivolous and not guaranteed, and get shattered and then pick yourself up again and do that endlessly. And that is your occupation. And I think once I understood that, I was much... It's not that you're happier, but you suddenly have a function to your suffering, which just kind of feels a little better. That wasn't helpful.
No, it's
That was so well said.
it's so beautifully said.
I was just trying to get the last word, and then you completely mopped the floor with me.
You just got it.
That was great poetry coming from you. It's good.
I have to say, throughout, I'm sorry to bring the book up again, but interviewing him for so many hours was the funniest. Like, I just had you just cracked me up constantly. Like, the things that come out of your mouth at times, I just was dying. Like, so we knew you were funny, but so funny. And one of the things, you know, again, I had so much respect for all of you before I was starting the process, and then talking to you for so many hours and seeing how you prepare and what you put yourself through in order to do a role is so impressive. What makes you say yes to something? Because I've been watching, you know, like you did Poker Face, which is so good, and I loved those episodes. And you did Mayim's movie, which I'm blanking on the name of right now, but
As They Made Us.
As They Made Us, yeah, so good in that. And so, what makes you say yes to a project? What gives you that purpose that I want to do this?
I mean, I feel like I have to fight for everything, so I'm saying yes to things that people are saying no to me about also, which is really awkward. Yes, I'll do it. No, you won't. I already said yes. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much had to kind of fight in one way or another, or at least put myself out there to get things. But in terms of what attracts me, I mean, just things I haven't done before, people I haven't worked with before, stories I haven't told, challenges, sides of myself that I would like to explore or, you know, show people maybe. It's I couldn't put it exactly into words, but it's clear when I'm like fired up about doing something, you know.
Was it scary to play a role like Dimitri?
I was scared because it's doing, you know, I mean, the technical part of doing an accent and potentially falling on your face is always very scary. So a different kind of role too, but like, I like that, you know, I just wanted to feel that Kyra's arm wasn't being, you know, twisted to have me. And like, because I was like kind of nervous about that. It's like different, you know, it's like, oh, he's this sort of, you know, weird, brooding Russian farmer. I'm like, do you know who you're talking to, Kyra? I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah. So I was excited. Yeah.
And did any of you know each other beforehand, like with Alexandra and with Madeline? And so nobody had ever met?
The only person I knew was Alfre, because Alfre would, and Kevin Bacon.
Whoops.
Forgetting him, which is weird. Alfre.
The only person I ever knew.
Yeah. Alfre was my friend, you know, but no, I didn't know any of these people. Wonderful, amazing, incredible people. I did not.
As we were talking about having to sometimes fight for the roles, have you felt you've had to fight to direct something? Is that something that you continually face? And how do you keep proving people wrong and saying, no, I can do this, I should be doing this, please put my name in for consideration?
No, I mean, I definitely don't think it's easy at all. I mean, first of all, you know, I've been acting since I was 16, and I've worked with maybe 4 or 5 female directors in my whole career. I mean, since I was 16, I'm 50. 7. I mean, that's crazy, right? So, I mean, so if you can't see it, if you don't see it, you can't dream it. That's my feeling. And so it wasn't until I was 50 that I started directing at all. And you know, I think that there is that, you know, I joke about like, will you be in my movie? But like there is this thing that, I don't know, I think that men feel, you know, my experience is that men feel more entitled to most things in life because this is the patriarchy that we're living in. I mean, it's just the truth, you know. Not that I don't love men, because I really do. But, you know, but seriously.
I'm barely a man.
No, but seriously though, it's like guys just think, well, of course you're going to hire me, and women, it's just harder. I mean, you know the stats. I mean, they're still depressing as hell, you know. So I think that, and especially an actor who wants to direct, it's like, oh, she thinks she wants to direct, you know. So, you know, I mean, I even had my representation going like, a lot of actors want to direct. Like, there's no way you're going to be able to do it. And I'm like, well, I am doing it, and I'm doing it. You can come along, or you can just be left behind, you know, because I'm in this. And thank you. You know, I am super grateful that I've been tenacious about it, but I do have to continue. It's a fight. It's all a fight, you know? And, you know, I feel like I have to work twice as hard as everybody else. It's funny. I mean, working on The Closer was so eye-opening for me because, you know, I worked with so many directors, and many of whom were men. And the difference between the female directors and the male directors was massive, and it really was about preparation. Like, the women wouldn't be caught dead showing up on set without being prepared, like, for everything, you know, whereas I thought the guys were like, they're winging it. You know what I mean? Not all of them, but some of them. And so I think the great thing about being a director that acts, an actor who directs, is that I got to see everybody else direct, whereas most directors don't get to see other directors direct. I get to see all those guys, all those people, and go like, that's that. I want to take that. I want to take that. I definitely don't want to take that. You know, so that I think is really helpful. But I think that it's all a fight. I think, you know, it's funny. Someone said to me, "It's going to be really hard to do this," and I'm like, everything's hard. Right. It's been hard to be an actor for this many years. It's been hard to now be a director. It's hard to be a producer. It's hard to make anything. Right. It's all hard. Yeah. So that doesn't scare me. You can't scare me with hard.
I love that. And you did such a fantastic job. Like, you truly, not only did you do it, you did amazing at it. You really did. What did you learn about yourself having completed this? Because you said the actual shooting was a dream. It was all the stuff beforehand that was so hard.
I don't think I learned this about myself. I think I knew this about myself, but like, I am so utterly energized by directing. It's everything. I mean, it utilizes all my faculties. It's just it's so exciting to feel like something is an important story that needs to get out there and be able to mount it. I mean, it's remarkable. And it's also remarkable. And, you know, I've said this before, so I didn't really learn it on this, but like, when you're an actor, when they say action, you are all alone. Well, when you're a director, you have legions of people behind you. You know, you just do. I mean, you just have all these people that want to see you succeed, and you have your entire crew, you have your producers, you have the script underneath you. You have, you know, it's a much less lonely place in some ways, although it is lonely ultimately at the end of the day. But like, as an actor, you're all alone when they say action. Don't you feel that way? Action, go. It's like, oh my God.
All those legions of people that are behind you are looking at the actor.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But
so I think that, you know, I've always thought, like, when James Cameron got up and was like, I'm king of the world, I was like, no, you're not. You got like the world behind you. You're like one guy at the helm who's taking the Oscar.
but Kyra did an amazing job as an actor. It really, like, the energy that you had was, it is so much about setting the stage for creativity, like I said, and just knowing, like Kyle was saying too, that you understand your point of view is something that, you know, we can all, as actors, we've been through that, and it was just you just were wonderful. So just say that again.
Yeah, I didn't really feel that alone.
You didn't? I'm so glad.
Same. But yeah.
That's good. I'm so glad.
Since everybody just saw the film, are there any scenes that they would be surprised to know what either went into it or something that was super challenging that you just had to kind of make it work the day of? Anything that...
Yeah, I mean, the end of the movie was shot in Macedonia State Park, in a state park where we didn't have a permit. And it was a place in Connecticut, in Sharon, Connecticut, where we live. My husband and I have a place there. And it's a hike that we've taken with our kids for, decades. And I had always pictured the last scene of the movie to be there. Okay. And so I asked Alexandra and Kyle to come to Connecticut for the weekend and have a nice relaxing time, and then maybe we'll shoot a little something. And we took a hike up, and we shot it. So, we shot it there. And I think that was something that, Rhode Island is beautiful, but it's flat, like a pancake. And so there's no height. You can't get any kind of height there. And so my producer's sitting there going, I cannot believe you said this. Right. Anyway, so yeah, I knew that this was this beautiful place, and I knew it had this beautiful view. And then Kevin and I shot that last drone shot with like a little, $20 drone that we got at Woolworths or whatever. Not really, but Amazon or whatever. And we literally shot that. So those guys came, and then we shot the drone shot later, and we kind of stitched it all in with VFX. I mean, it's all magic and mirrors, but the point is that was kind of a surprise. I mean, we had to go somewhere else to another state.
But the permit police didn't show up.
No, they
anything.
did not. They did
Okay.
not. They did not. No. And
They
we
here
were lucky
tonight?
that the actors
They're here
were willing.
tonight.
Surprise!
Hey, we were down. We were down. They're like, hey, you want to come to Kevin Bacon's farm for a weekend? I was in. It was awesome.
Kevin, wait, what is Kevin Bacon's farm and Kyra's farm like? What is this like? Do you have how many animals you have? And
Do you watch Instagram? Do you see Instagram?
I was looking at
There's
Instagram.
a lot of
There's
it.
a lot of Vanity Fair stuff late, for the party, but I didn't see the farm.
Yeah, no, we have a petting zoo practically, and like a farm, and like animals and stuff like that. It's really nice.
Next time we should have done this there. That sounds delightful.
All of the running shots are either there's one sequence that is a drone, chasing a drone, and then everything else is our crew with a hanging is it a gyroscope? What's that called? Yeah. Hanging from a pole, and they have it on their shoulders, and they're running with me with that camera, getting the tracking shot. So you could move the camera on the two poles, but it is still two people running for hours with two poles. And there's one across the bridge where he couldn't fit the whole rig. So it was, God, what's her name? She's also a welder. I think
Callista? Like
she welded our crane together. It's not an electric crane. It was it's just two poles, and it just had an axis. We put sandbags on one end so we could move the camera around smoothly, so we could get like the shot. I mean, I thought it was the most incredible thing. And then she puts it on her back and is running across it. And I'm supposed to be like tired and sweating and like like I'm having a hard time. She's a foot shorter than I am, and she is running across this bridge with a camera on her back, and I, like the whole apparatus. It was very humbling. It was very inspiring. It was very, very fun.
It really was incredible. And that one crane shot that goes over the beach, at the end. Well, I mean not the end, but when they go to the beach and there's that tall, and that was a crane that she welded together with like two pieces of iron pole, right?
Yeah, like deconstructed C stands. There's something.
It was unbelievable.
It is. I'm telling you, it is such a gorgeous film. It is just, you did such a beautiful job. Before we get to audience questions, yes, definitely a round of applause. I have some fun rapid fire questions. At least I thought they were fun. I hope you guys think they're fun. I don't know. Okay, so first one here. Have you ever overslept a call time, and what did you do about it?
Yes, commercial when I was 18. I apologized.
No, I haven't.
Oh my my
Trying
God.
to brag, but I can't. I don't think so.
It's okay. Brag away. I had a rehearsal for The Edge of 17 with James Brooks, who's like one of my idols,
Yes.
and Kelly Fremont Craig. And like, I was so obsessed with this show. And then I woke up late and I was terrified. I mean, I just threw on clothes and whatever. I made it, but it was horrifying. It's the most horrifying feeling in the world. You want to die. You're like, no, it's not happening. It's just, it's the worst. It's the worst.
Simon's like, I don't know what that is like.
Yeah. Boy,
Perfectionism.
maybe you should try setting your alarm, 2 alarms. I don't know. I mean, 3 alarms.
Okay, what is a rule you never break on set?
Never oversleep, guys. Always be early.
Clearly.
I'm such a rule follower. I don't know.
Yeah, what do you never break on set?
I never yell.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I can't think of any.
No.
Maybe I just break all the rules. I don't feel like
What rules?
rules. What rules? I don't break the law. I don't know.
Okay, what is something you need before your first scene of the day?
Food. Food.
Food and coffee. And stretching. I will stretch even if.
Did you
they're
still
right in
run
front of me.
around before?
I used
you
to, yes, do a lot of nervous running around.
Yeah, did you do that on this movie?
No, I've grown quite a bit. I run in place now. You know.
I've tried to have some kind of ritual. I've never been able to hang on to anything. I think like I'm always like in the camp of like, it's 4 a.m. You can't feel your face. They just changed everything. You've been up for 48 hours. You didn't sleep the night before. Like, how good are you? Like, go. So it's just like ideally you need nothing beforehand. I think.
Okay, in the early days, what is one thing you may have exaggerated on your resume? And did you ever get caught?
Gymnastics, maybe, or something.
I didn't graduate college, but I did put the name. I put NYU on my resume. I didn't specify. It's just like I went there.
That happened.
Yeah, it was true. And people were like, "Oh, you went to NYU?" I was like, "I did."
They should give you.
Go there.
They should give you an honorary degree now.
Look,
That's what I say.
I've been lobbying.
What the
for
hell,
years.
NYU?
I don't know.
Come
I
on.
hope someone's here from.
You see
alumni
this man?
board.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
Trapeze.
Well, you studied ballet, right?
I was also an acrobat, but I took like one trapeze class.
I thought you were gonna say I didn't put trapeze on my resume. That was the lie that I couldn't do.
I did it for like a week one summer when I was 10, and but it stayed there.
That counts
All right.
in my book. Then again, I didn't go to college, so what do I know?
I have nothing to share.
Okay, and last one of my fun rapid fire questions here. What is a piece of advice somebody gave you that you were glad you didn't follow? Like it could have been a generic piece of advice that someone gave you, but you're like, that doesn't really apply to me. I can't, like, what are you glad that you didn't listen to?
Finish college was one.
Yeah.
Of those. Seriously, I mean, and I love college actually, but I was like, I think I'm done, and a lot of.
Why did you not?
I just did 2 years there, and then I started.
That's all you need, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an even number. I like that, and yeah. No, I just didn't realize I was supposed to go back. I was like, isn't it 2 years? Oh, there's the third and the fourth. Yeah. So I just started trying to work, but
It worked.
people were like, go back, and it's like, well, that'll always be there, I think. So yeah. Now, I'm not suggesting that people, break the rules like me. But,
Wow, what a rule breaker.
so what do you got, Kyle? More trapeze stuff?
Yeah, stop doing trapeze, kid. And I was like, no. Someone said something to me when I first got here about statistics. They're talking about like the statistics of success and how many people arrive here and what the likelihood of those things are. And I was like, that's nice if you're, counting, I don't know, the stock market, something intelligent, but you're talking about people, you're talking about human beings, and so you're blindly associating yourself with one group of people over another group of people. Like, these are the people that don't succeed, these are the people who do, here are the markers of success, and here's where you are. And I was just so you're blindly associating with this group of people that doesn't succeed. I'm just going to blindly associate with the group that, if we're all just arbitrarily saying we're like a certain percentage of people, like I'm just going to say I'm like those certain percentage of people. So I'm glad I didn't listen to that. Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't listen either. By the way, every time I watched you on screen, I don't know if you guys thought this, I just kept thinking like young Patrick Swayze. Like I just see you in the, what, did you see that?
Everyone projects their favorite movie star onto Kyle.
And maybe it was also knowing about the dance background and stuff too, but I could just totally see it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I can't think of a piece of advice that I didn't
glad you
take.
didn't
I think I took
follow?
them all. No, I'm only kidding. No, I don't know. I don't remember. I can't remember.
That's healthy. That's
I think
good.
it's
You're not
clear
holding
that you didn't listen to any bad advice.
I'm glad you didn't listen, whatever the case. Like, you just keep doing it. Okay, so here's some audience questions. This one is from Camille Dixon, and it's for Kyra, which is... Kyra. What did I just say? Kyra. She said...
Are you British? It's so funny because I just was talking about how Brits always say Kyra. Always. I know you know it's Kyra.
I know it's Kyra
okay.
too.
I love
but
you,
I don't
Giles.
know why
It's okay, Giles.
that what it was. I was thinking Kyle, and then I was like, Kyra. I am sorry. It's past my bedtime. That's what I said. It's like, yeah, okay. All right. So, Kyra. Kyra, while directing this film, how did you manage relationships with friends and family?
That's always a challenge, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was helpful having my husband there and cooking for me every night. I think that the great thing about being married to someone who's in the business, they really understand that you're totally consumed and can't really. But, kids don't know that. And although my kids are grown, I have grown children, 33 and 30, some stuff hit the fan, but, you just, that's life. Life is more important than anything else. And you just manage it. But you hope that the people that you love you and know that you're just consumed by something and can't be there for them constantly.
This one's for Kyle, or I should say Keel, to keep this going. Okay, what is something you learned from working with Kevin Bacon, and how has the industry changed based on both? Well, since Kevin's not here, how has the industry changed based on your experiences? This is from Resa. So what was it like working with Kevin? What did you learn from him?
He's very patient with himself. I loved it too. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, like, why wouldn't you be? It just made sense. And at the rest of the question was, how has the industry changed?
How has the industry changed based on your experiences?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's pre and post Netflix for starters. I think there's a lot more information at your disposal. So I think that has positives and negatives to it. It's harder to block out opinions. It's harder to block out, everyone has a soapbox now. It's hard to know who to listen to. It might be harder to find your internal compass. I don't really know what it was like prior to that. I do frequently envy a time when it seemed there's way less opportunity, but there seemed to be like a bit less chaos. But I mean, I wasn't there, so I could be wrong.
These next two questions, I love these two. This is from Jessie Bloom, who also says at the bottom, "Thank you so much for all the years of entertainment," which I love. Jessie asks, was there any specific performance that really moved you and inspired you as an actor? That's part one of the questions. So whose performance over the years really inspired you as an actor?
I loved Meryl Streep in Kramer versus Kramer.
Yes.
I think that was a huge, amazing moment for me. I saw St. Joan, the play someone, I don't remember who it was, but I loved that part. I grew up with a lot of like Ordinary People was an extraordinarily strong, had a strong impact on me. All the acting in that, the writing and the directing, all of it, and also it was directed by an actor. Yeah, those are just a few.
Simon?
Oh, I'm still inspired. I try to think sort of formative ones. Nicolas Cage was somebody I really looked up to as a kid and thought he was hilarious, and then I saw him in Leaving Las Vegas, and I didn't understand what was happening, and I was, I want to be an actor. I cannot believe what I've seen. And Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon, and then like when I was in college, Philip Seymour Hoffman was sort of like the only thing that I paid attention. I just couldn't. Again, I was sort of, and I saw him on stage, and I had seen him in Boogie Nights, and I was like, oh, they found this guy. I can't believe. I was like, I fell for that. And I also kind of fell for Adam Driver in Girls. I was like, how'd they find that guy? Where do you find a guy that can just be like that? Oh, he went to Juilliard. He's an actor. And I was fooled, and I was, in my 20s. So I feel like those are the times that I can think of where I'm like, I fell for, I got tricked. Those people are so insanely just mind-blowing, yeah.
Kyle?
I'd say Ray Fiennes in Grand Budapest Hotel, at most things that Ray Fiennes has done. There's this one moment, Emma Stone in La La Land. It's particularly when she's just doing in the kind of the theater, everything goes dark and it's like just her face. I remember like I'd never experienced a moment like that. Pretty much every performance in the 100-Foot Journey. Oh guys, this an incredible movie. I'm gonna relay the entire cast of that. I essentially at one point in the film, one of a chef who's from an Indian family who they emigrated to a small French town where there's this incredible Michelin star restaurant, and they set up shop across from it, and they kind of are warring, and then they kind of make friends, and then he goes off to Paris to kind of chase his dream, and he has this moment. He's been in Paris, he's become the top chef of Paris, and this Indian custodian comes in as he's working. He's this famous chef now, and he's doing all this gastronomy stuff. It's all really cool and fancy and cutting edge, and the guy comes in and just opens his container, and from across the room he smells it. And you just watch him go over, and he's like, can I try that? Like he's out of his mind, like he just, like a shark almost. And you just watch him eat this food from his past, and you see like his entire life come back to him. And I was kind of on the fence about being an actor until I saw that movie. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, I gotta try.
Was there any opportunity that seemed like a loss that ultimately turned into a benefit?
I don't know. I'm a big fan of like one door closes, another door opens, but it's kind of true. I mean, the things that I didn't get or the things that fell apart, ushered in the opportunity to do something else. I think that's a hard question for me, but I do believe generally that that it is wrought other benefits that I didn't know were there or made room for me to do something else.
Yeah. It's really true. If you really try to connect everything, you're like, oh, if I hadn't lost that role, I would have never had this role. Or, I almost didn't do The Big Bang Theory for a couple reasons, which you know about, but that would have been sad. And actually, James Cameron, speaking of James Cameron, I had auditioned for Avatar, and I went into a room with him. He was like out of his mind, and he was on a crutch, and I was like, what happened? He's like, I fell out of a helicopter. All right, so... it was so crazy. I had to like give like DNA samples just to like read the script and handcuff myself to whatever. So I went in with him, and he ran around on a crutch and filmed me and was like, can you commit a year of your life to this thing? I was like, yes, of course, and it was Avatar.
Trapeze.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever you need. I went to college, and then I didn't. Yeah, and then I did not get that part, and I would have been just blue. I would have been blue in the movie. No offense to any of the blue, characters. I wouldn't. I would have been like, I would have spent, and then I would have gotten to make 2 more movies where I was blue. Yeah. Again.
You were blue on Big Bang, though.
I did that, yes, but it was you saw my face much more often. I had much more to do, so that worked out. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of, it is always that way.
By the way, I heard people say when you were saying you almost, with Big Bang, they were saying, what was it? Studio 60.
Yeah, and I was on that, yes. I was doing that show.
But that was a hard time. That was really conflicting.
And that was hard to say, you just never, good problems. But of course, yes, if it's like, if without all the rejection, there wouldn't have been any opportunity.
Yeah, I can think of many times when I was 100% sure this is going to be the best movie to come out in the next 3 years, and I have to have this part, and I give everything to it, and you don't get it, and you're utterly devastated, and then you watch it come out, and you're like, phew. Dodge that one. Thank God. So you really never know.
Okay, last quick thing, because I know we have to wrap up, but one thing we loved, particularly at Glamour over award season this year, is seeing so many women and men too, who felt like they had never gotten their due or their opportunity and finally were getting it, whether it was Cheryl Lee Ralph or whether, it was key with Everything Everywhere All at Once. So what advice can you impart on this audience about just never giving up? Because I always say it's the hardest job because you have to keep the faith constantly. So what is the best piece of advice?
I'm going to steal a Kevin Bacon quote. The key to longevity is longevity. And it's just sticking in there and the cream rises to the top.
I love that.
Does Kevin have any other quotes? Aside from I can't make the SAG Q&A, no. Oh man.
Simon, I love you.
That's this I don't have like a pithy quote, but I think just keeping busy and creating your own work and trying to feel. This is so cliche, but like the most down I am is when I don't feel at all inspired, and then it feels very, very hard to become inspired when you are down. So it's sort of a vicious cycle. So I don't know. Trying to like really like be precious about the moments that you find whatever little fleeting inspiration there is, and just tackling that. And that's kind of and what anything Kevin Bacon says.
Kyle.
I think that's your job. It's not like, how do I not give up? Your job is not giving up. That is the entirety of it. That's like everyone else in their life gets their heart broken from natural reasons. And it's just kind of what I said before, like it's your occupation. It's our job to be shattered in front of other people. Like, if it sucks, like you're nailing it.
That's a great button.
If it sucks, you're nailing it. Oh man. Well, on that note, you're all going to get bumper stickers. I'd say that on the way out. I just want to thank you all so much. You're all so fantastic in the film. Thank God you are directing, and it's bringing you such joy, because I can't wait to see what you do next. Keep at it. Thank you very much. I love all of you, so thank you for being here tonight. Thank all of you, too.